Do you ever find yourself opening your planner ready to be a productive goddess and then just stare? Yeah, me too. But have no fear, I've got your back. I have a freebie list of 65 things to write in your planner, and today I'm sharing 15 of my faves to get you started. So I am going to be flipping through some of my old planners and showing you 15 of the things on my list that I like to write in my planners. Now I am going to preface this that these are my after the pen spreads, and they are not nearly as beautiful as some of the other, creators out there. So I just want to say that now. There's a lot of them that are not filled out all the way. They don't look as nice as some of the like planning with Bumbles and Kenya Pattersons, which are goals. That is what I would love them to look like, but it's just not realistic right now with a toddler. So, anyways. So starting out, one of the things that I like to track in my planners is my goals. As you can see, this goal this week was simply just exercise 3 days. I didn't write very well in my planner, so I don't know if I kept it, but that was my goal. Another thing that I will write in my planners is like current event or news things that are happening. So on this day there was a solar eclipse, so I wrote that in my planner. Again, a lot of things are not filled out, but that's okay. Another thing I will use my planners for is keeping track of like memory keeping. I would like to start doing this a lot more, but it's, on this day, my son Lucas was teething, so I just wrote that in. So, your planners you can fill them with whatever it is you want to, whatever makes you happy. And doing this video actually just really reminded me of why I love, disc planning and just decorative planning in general, because going through this was just a lot of it was just a trip down memory lane, like things that you forget about. And so I really enjoyed like going through to find this, these things for my video, and like going down memory lane and thinking of, what I was doing, at this time, a year ago, 2 years ago. Another thing I will do is write in like weather. So we got snow on this day. Because, a lot of times it'll be snow days, or, being in Michigan, that's the thing I will, put in. But, if you're in Florida and there's a hurricane going through, write that in your planner, because you'll want to remember that someday. Other things that I will keep track of in my planner is important event. This is kind of an obvious one. Important events, though, like we had our gender reveal, and then, I added the note on there that it's a boy. So, like, it's just fun to go back through these things and see, like, not only the decorative stuff when I was actually doing pretty good pre-baby, kind of filling in my stuff and making it look cute, and I've got nice after the pen spreads, but that kind of has gone out the window, and I'm hoping it will come back eventually, but, right now it's been a little more on the functional side than it has been on the pretty side. And another thing that I will track, that I have tracked in the past, is, like my pregnancy. Going through my pregnancy, what size was the baby? Pre-pregnancy, it was tracking like our IVF procedures, what we had going on, what medicines I needed to take, all that kind of stuff. So, and then another thing that I will track is meals, like what did we eat? So it's funny looking back through this that I've got on this day that I ate cereal for dinner because I was feeling so lazy. And then the next day I had my glucose test and I failed. And now that I'm looking back, I'm like, obviously I failed. I had a giant bowl of carbs for dinner before I went in for my glucose test. Not very smart. So going forward, if you are pregnant and you're going to do your glucose test, don't have cereal the night before. Because after that, I passed. So, and this morning, it was just a waffle kind of morning. So I just like being able to go back and see like where I was at this time. It's just fun. So that's a couple other things that I like to keep track of. Another thing that you can keep track of in your planner is packing lists for vacations. This can either be kept in, on a list in your actual spread for your planner, or on a separate list. I like to make separate lists just because it gives me a little more room to fill in. I do like to keep track of bills, so when I have bills coming up, I like to write it in on my weekly spread so I make sure that I don't forget them. I like to keep track of books that I'm reading, or sometimes I will keep in there shows. I haven't been watching a lot of shows lately, but if I am, then I'll add those in there. But definitely was doing a lot of audiobooks in this spread. I like to use my planners to write down affirmations. So on this week it was, I am surrounded by abundance. I will also keep track of my workouts in here. So whatever part of the body that I'm working on each day. So quads and glutes, biceps and triceps. So I will keep track of that in here. You can keep track of your weekly habits, what your trying to track for. So on this week, it was reading for just 10 minutes a day. I kept track of that. I did very good for that one. My other habit was to close all 3 rings on my watch. I kind of fell off the wagon at the end of the week, apparently. I definitely like to do a weekly practice of gratitude. I'm not always perfect at it. A lot of them, when I was going back through this, are empty and I didn't fill it in, but it's something I continue to try to do. So I will try to keep a list somewhere on my spread of even just a couple things that I am grateful for. And the last thing that I like to track in here is my top 3 for the week. Or you could do a top 3 for the day. Whatever your goals are, that these are the top 3 things that you want to do. And if you only get those 3 things done, you will consider it a successful day. If you enjoyed this video and you want all 65 ideas, grab my freebie in the link below. All you have to do is enter your email address and I'll send it right over to you. Plus, you'll have access to extra planner tips, inspo, and even discounts to my shop. Thanks for watching. Bye.